And I'm going to highlight right here. A lot of the questions we've had so far have said prove. This one says solve. Okay, don't get mixed up between proving questions and solving questions. If it's a solving question, you need to find out what x is and use the strategies to do that. However, we can't solve this equation right now because we have sine of x and cos of x in the same equation. So we have to use an identity. We have to use a big idea that we know that sine squared x is 1 minus cos squared x. And if we have that, then I can rewrite this question. And where the sine squared is, I can replace it with 1 minus cos squared. This would get distributed. You see that you would get, I'll write my cos squared first, positive 2 cos squared x. We would still have minus 3 cos x. And here I would have 3 minus 2, which would be plus 1, equals 0. Hopefully this factors. If it doesn't factor, or if you have trouble factoring it, you can always use the quadratic formula. But if you can factor it, usually it's a lot quicker than using the quadratic formula. So I'm going to check if I can factor it. If it's a 2 cos squared x, if you could factor it, there's only one option for the first one. It has to be 2 cos x and cos x. And since the last number is a 1, if it could be factored, there'd only be one option, that'd be 1 and 1. In fact, if this is factorable, this is one of the easiest ones in the world to factor because we have had no options so far. Now we have some options. To get a plus 1, it could either be both positive or both negative, but we need the outside and the inside to make negative 3. So they're going to have to both be negative. So this one actually factored really easily. So we get cos x equals 1 here, and here you would get cos x equals 1/2. Are these on your pie plate? They are. Are you getting better at knowing the answers for these, or do they still take you some time? Cos 1/2 is what family? I gave you a hint. It's pi over something. That's not a really good hint, is it? Pi over 3. And it also would be in quadrant 4, because it's positive, pi over 3. Axis family? Axis family would be at 0 and 2 pi. So I get to solving these equations, and sort of as a habit, I always solve between 0 and 2 pi. Because from there I can figure everything else out. But now I'm going to go back and check my domain, and you see they have between 0 and 3 pi over 2. Can you see that that's really just checking quadrant 1, quadrant 2, and quadrant 3? So I would have to go and cancel this one out because it's in quadrant 4. I'd have to cancel this one out because it's too far. So the answers are just 0 and pi over 3. You have to reread, well, you should reread your question at the end anyways, but the domain is something in particular that you have to check for. Because this could have been a general solution. It could have been just a 0 to 2 pi, but 2 pi not included. Oh, so many ways that you could lose a half a mark, so it's just important to check it over. Question number 10 for practice.